Right, now, I have a question to ask. Will I be able to go on and see this?
Yeah, 100%.
Great. This is
So,
wonderful. Well, with the brain injury, it's a lot of people don't realize this, and I've changed my life so many times. See, I got my guardianship taken from me because I used to be heavy into just heavy into drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And before and after the car accident. That's why the car accident happened, because me and my one of my best friends, he got killed in the car accident. And I was dead when they found me. They had to use the jaws of life and everything, but they shot my heart and whatever, and I was in a coma for 8.5 weeks.
Okay.
And I died 17 times. And I didn't smell very pretty, I don't think. Yeah. But other than that, yeah. My name is Adam Daniel Stenson. My mother is Danielle Stenson, and my father is Michael Lawton. It happened on the Jay Peak Road. To get to Jay Peak, that's a mountain in Vermont. It's at the top of Vermont, but that's where it happened. It happened right on that road. We came around the corner. I didn't have a seatbelt on, and that's how fast your life can change. We were in the car for less than 5 minutes, and the car accident happened. Yeah. But I mean, it's shown me a lot, because see, I'm bigger now. I weigh a little bit more than I probably should, and I'm losing weight, but I weigh a little bit more than I should. And back then, I didn't weigh 150 pounds. I mean, I was teeny, I was working. I worked all day for Purple Penny. We went, and then Brett came up. He came up to my Graham's house, Marshall Bloom. Came up there, and he was with Dustin, and they were going swimming. And this was August 14th, 2005. They were going swimming, and it was like a 95 or 98 degree day. It was really hot, and I asked if I could go with them, and they said yeah. My grandmother said yeah, you can go, and of course. So I went. I went and we did things, drugs, and drank, and then then Dustin got mad because his mom had started drinking again. Now his mom could drink a gallon of alcohol and walk straight. That's hard to do. And Dustin got really upset, so Dustin was mad, so he jumped in the car, and he said, let's go. So I jumped in, and we left, and we started going down that road. And as soon as we got to the main road, it wasn't a minute and a half, and we got in the accident. A state truck driver hit us, killed Dustin, and he's still walking free. Yeah, but, I mean, so is life. But I woke up from a coma. Like I said, I was in it for 8.5 weeks, and I didn't know too much. I didn't know who people were, but I could feel love, my father, I could feel, and Leanne Chase, I could feel her love. I could feel a lot of love. Graham, my grandmother has Alzheimer's now. Now, a lot of people don't know this about Alzheimer's, but she has good and bad times. Not days, but times. The whole day is different. You could come in from the barn, because my dad has a cow farm now. He's milking 19 right now, so that's good. But he's turning that barn into something. We just lost my grandfather. It's okay. We just lost him in either September 1st or October 1st, one of the first. But we lost Grandpa Dan, and but a lot of stuff happened that shouldn't have when he was alive, and a lot of stuff didn't happen because Grandpa wouldn't let anything happen. Well, like I said, now Dad's farming. It's hard work.
Yeah.
I'm actually losing weight because of it.
Great.
I've gone up for the past 7 weekends and worked. But it's good, you know. I do once in a while. I will try to stand on one foot. Just I don't do it. You know, I do it, but I don't do it every day. But you know, I'll stand on one foot, or I don't know, try to do push-ups or something. You know, I'm always trying to, you know, or I read. See, I couldn't read before the car accident and after the car accident. I couldn't read. Now, I'm not an excellent reader, no, but I can get by and figure out pretty much what is being said. I don't really know. Before I could remember and I could do things that I can't do now. Like, I can't, you know, sit in a hot tub. Now that's with some of the medications that I take for my brain injury. And I always take my medicine. I never forget. I always make sure that I take my medication because that's what helps. I mean, I want to get off the medicine someday, or at least to a very mild dose of all of it. I'd like to do that. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but I cut my morning meds, I cut them in half. So I'm only taking half of what I used to take. And that's been going well. I mean, as far as I know, I'm pretty coherent and everything. So I think we all have good and bad days. It's only getting better now. Now they said that every brain injury is different. And my brain injury is only getting better. So for those brain injured people out there that it doesn't look like it's going to work, or it doesn't look like it's going to get better, give it time, you know. I've been brain injured 14 years, you know. Well, 14 years I've been brain injured. So, you know, I'm 28 now. I was 14 when it happened. My left lobe, my brain flipped over actually, inside my skull. That's why I went into a coma. I had probably like 6 seconds before I went out completely, because I saw that my friend Dustin was dead. My cousin Brett broke his shoulder and his foot, I think. But Dustin was, when we hit, the steering wheel crushed because we were going 100 or 130 miles an hour when we hit. So when we hit, it crushed. He flew up and it crushed his lungs and everything. He was dead instantly, pretty much. Which is funny because, see, my dad is an alcoholic, but he's not drinking right now. And he don't really know how proud of him I am that he's not drinking. But the thing is he's always been, my father's always been penalized for that, in the sense of he you know, they've always said you're an alcoholic, so he's always drank.
Yeah. But
now my Uncle Brett passed away and everything. He died of lung cancer. Same house, but taking medicine, doing my exercises with my caseworker and my guardian, and doing different things, I feel that it's starting to come. I've flown out to Colorado 2 years, all by myself. Now, for someone that doesn't travel, I understand how that would be hard, but I've always traveled. I've lived in Alaska after the brain injury. I lived up there. I've lived all over, really. I stayed in Maryland when I was a kid for some time. So somebody that travels, you know, that's a good thing. But for someone that doesn't and doesn't want to get into it, I understand. But it is, you know, Pop, that's Sonny Tricome. And Sonny Tricome is 91 years old. And he said he can he can go everywhere he wants to go right on the History Channel. Well, you can, well, he's 91, so I understand, but you can't really. I mean, it's different than standing there smelling the air and, walking around. I actually have a little bit of a fetish. I like to gold dig. When I was up in Alaska, my father, he said, I've never seen, I could smell it. It was weird. I could almost smell it, it was very strange. I could. You have to find something. Being brain injured, I've learned, you have to find something that your whole being's about, and nothing bad, but something good. You have to find something that's good. And gold digging, it's hard, but it works. It works for me. I do it here. I do it, which I live in Vermont. I would just like them to be understanding. Quite honestly, it's, when your brain, if any condition, it don't matter what it is, cancer, brain injury, schizophrenia, anything, if you got anything wrong with you, just be understanding, because they, and don't try to push somebody past. If they can't do it, they won't. Now, if they're lazy and they don't want to do it, that's different. But if they can't do something, or they can't, participate in the way that a mother or a father or a grandmother or a grandfather would like them to do, just be understanding. Understand that, well, maybe that's not the right fit for them. It's like school. School is very challenging for me. Now, they can say whatever they want, but it took me about 1.5 years to graduate high school. Okay? Because once I got into school, I was a trouble kid. I was the one that, had all the good stuff. But that wasn't good, obviously. But yeah, it took me 1.5 years after the car accident to graduate high school. I was, I had a math teacher from North Country up in Newport, Vermont, and she came to me and brought me had me stay after class for a minute, and said, what's the problem? Because she'd give me algebra 2. Come on, that ain't even hard. I mean, so I was done in like 3 minutes, the whole paper, and everybody else was struggling. So I'd shoot spitballs and things like that. Well, I'll tell you that, so she came, brought me into the special ed educator up there, the head of the special ed, and said, we got to do something. And so she wrote down 5 problems. Well, it took me all about 20 minutes, and I was done. So she said, that's impossible. I said, check the answers. So she checked them. And then she looked right at, I can't remember Matt's last name, but his name was Matt. And so they checked him, and they just kept being blown away, because this wasn't anything we were learning at high school, but they were all correct. And she said, that one took me 20 years to learn. I said, maybe I ought to teach the class. And boy, that didn't upset her. Awesome. That upset her, but... And that was the last one. That was the quickest one. That was the easiest one, and that took her 20 years to learn. Good God. But simple math, anything, I can figure it out. Be considerate and be understanding, and know that people, we're only human, And somebody very dear to my heart told me that, and he said, you're only human. His name's Rick Deziel. He told me that when I moved and got into custody and everything. I was at the laundromat, and I needed 25 more cents to finish my load, to dry it, because I don't know, it was like $4 or something to wash your clothes. I couldn't believe it, but I needed like 25 cents, and I looked all over that thing, and then he reached in his pocket, he gave me 25 cents, he said, here. Because I had all but 25 cents, and put it in, and it started drying, and I left it. I do believe I left it, and then and he said, we're only human, and that's all we are, really. I mean, but you gotta understand what it means, because only being human, you can't really, you can only do what we can do, you know, and being that the world will see this, I love you, Dad. I love you, Mom. I love you, Gina and Marisol, which I called them Mom and Dad for many years. I love you, Nancy, and I love you, Adrian, and all the ones in between.